Hey everyone, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we are going to get into EHS compliance and keeping up with all those regulations and deadlines and the paperwork. It can be tough even for the best of us.
Yeah, tell me about it. It's like juggling flaming torches while riding a unicycle on a tightrope. One little slip and it's all over.
Oh, for sure. And that's where things get interesting. What if there was a way to kind of bring some sanity to this chaos? Not just manage compliance, but use it to make your workplace safer and more efficient. That's what we're going to look at today with ehssoftware.io's compliance calendar.
What's interesting to me is how ehssoftware.io changes how we think about compliance. Instead of it being this scary chore, it's a tool to manage risk and, proactively build a strong safety culture.
Okay, I like that.
Okay.
Now, before we get too far ahead, let's set the scene for our listeners. Imagine you're an EHS manager. You're responsible for making sure your company is following every single regulation, and you've got deadlines coming at you from every direction.
Oh, yeah. I've been there. You're drowning in spreadsheets and emails and sticky notes, just constantly worried about missing something important. It's exhausting.
I know, right? And that pressure can lead to, mistakes and oversights and sometimes even accidents. But what if I told you there's a way to bring all of that together into one central spot, a place where you can see all your compliance stuff, deadlines and tasks, all at a glance?
Yeah, that's where the ehssoftware.io compliance calendar comes in. Think of it like your command center for all things EHS.
Okay, a command center. I like it. So walk us through it. What does this command center actually look like?
Well, you have a couple of options for how you see your compliance tasks. First, there's the calendar view. It gives you that, familiar look, but instead of dentist appointments and soccer practice, you have your compliance events all laid out. They are color-coded and categorized, so you can see what's coming up this week, this month, or even this year.
That's super helpful. I can see how that would bring a sense of calm, even with the craziest EHS schedule.
Absolutely. But for people who like lists more, there's a list view. It shows all of your compliance events, regardless of the date. And you can sort and filter them however you want.
Yeah, a good list is always helpful. It's like a to-do list, but for compliance.
Exactly. And here's where it gets interesting. Each event on the calendar or in the list isn't just like a, static thing. It's like a portal to a whole bunch more information.
Okay, now you've got me hooked. Tell me more. What kind of information are we talking about?
Okay, let's say you click on an event. Maybe it's a reminder to renew a permit or something. You'll see a description of the permit, why you need it, who is responsible for renewing it, the due date, and any documents that go with it.
So let's say I'm in charge of OSHA regulations on forklift training. I can see who needs to be trained when their certification expires and even link to the training materials.
Exactly. No more guessing about compliance. And it gets even better. You can customize the events to fit your specific needs with ehssoftware.io.
Wait, so it's not just pre-populated regulatory deadlines. We can add our own internal deadlines and tasks that aren't, required by law.
Yeah, definitely. You can add custom tags to categorize events in a way that makes sense for your company. Let's say you are starting a new safety initiative. You can make events just for that initiative, track progress, and, make sure everything stays on track.
Wow, that's really smart. It's like being proactive about safety instead of just reacting to regulations.
Exactly. And what about all those forms that always get lost?
Ugh, don't even get me started on forms. They're the worst.
Well, with ehssoftware.io, you can say goodbye to all that paper. You can link specific forms to a compliance event. So let's say you have a near-miss reporting event on the calendar. You can link your near-miss report form right to that event.
Hold on. For our listeners who might not know all the EHS lingo, could you quickly explain what a near-miss report is and why it's important?
Oh, sure. A near miss is like an event that didn't cause an injury or damage, but it could have. Imagine someone almost tripping over a loose cable or something almost falling off a shelf. Reporting these near misses is really important because it helps you find potential hazards and fix them before someone actually gets hurt.
That makes a lot of sense. So instead of those reports being everywhere, they're organized within the event on the compliance calendar. No more searching through files or shared drives. That's amazing.
Exactly. And if you need to add extra information, like photos of the hazard or statements from witnesses, you can even attach files directly to the event.
This is so cool. We're talking about a whole new level of organization and efficiency. It's like having a personal assistant for compliance.
It really is. But the best part is this is just the beginning. There's so much more to explore with the ehssoftware.io compliance calendar.
Okay, before we go any further, let's pause for a second and let our listeners catch up. What's standing out to you so far about this compliance calendar? What's got you excited?
For me, it's how it changes compliance from a chore into a tool to make a safer workplace. Instead of just, checking boxes, you're actively finding risks, coming up with solutions, and building a culture of safety.
I totally agree. And we're just getting started. Stay tuned as we go even deeper into the ehssoftware.io compliance calendar.
Welcome back. I'm excited to keep talking about the ehssoftware.io compliance calendar.
Yeah, me too. It feels like we've only just scratched the surface. We talked about the calendar and list views, the detailed event information, the customization options, but I have a feeling there's more.
You're right. There's a feature that you might not see right away, but it's really important. It's the ability to tell the difference between action items and non-action items.
Okay, can you explain that a little more? What's the difference?
Well, not every compliance event needs you to do something right away. Some are just reminders or updates, and others need a specific task to be done by a certain time. ehssoftware.io understands that.
So like a reminder about a regulation that's going to change versus a task like doing a safety inspection.
Exactly, and the software shows them differently. In both the calendar and list views, action items have a blue bar on them, so they're easy to see.
That's great for busy EHS professionals.
Yeah.
No more going through a huge list trying to figure out what needs to be done right now.
Right, and you can even filter the calendar to show only action items, only non-action items, or both.
Oh, wow. So if I'm feeling overwhelmed, I can just focus on the really important tasks that need to get done today, and I can save the informational stuff for later. I love that flexibility. It's like they really get how stressful this job can be.
Yeah. Speaking of stress, let's talk about another feature that helps with that. Alert dates.
Alert dates. Okay, tell me more.
Let's say you have a training deadline coming up in a month. You could set an alert for a week or two before.
Yeah.
And the system will automatically remind the person who's responsible. No more waiting until the last minute.
Oh my gosh, that would be so helpful. No more trying to find training records the day before an audit.
Exactly. And the best part is you can customize it. Need a 2-week reminder for a super important deadline? No problem. A few days enough for something less urgent? You got it.
It's like a safety net to make sure nothing gets forgotten. You set it and forget it.
And maybe the coolest thing about all of this, it's not just a separate system. The ehssoftware.io compliance calendar works with their other tools too.
Wait, there's more. It feels like we've already found so many amazing features.
Oh yeah, there's a lot more. But for now, let's stop for a second and think about our listener. What feature has really stood out to you so far? What feels like a game changer?
Honestly, it's how easy it is to see everything and how much you can customize it. It's not a one-size-fits-all solution. It's a tool that adapts to what your organization needs.
Yeah, I agree. And that's really important, especially because EHS compliance is always changing.
But there's still more to come. Stay tuned, because in our last segment, we're going to talk about how this compliance calendar connects to a whole bunch of EHS tools within ehssoftware.io. It creates a really integrated approach to safety and compliance. Welcome back to the deep dive. As we finish up talking about the ehssoftware.io compliance calendar, I'm really impressed with how much this tool does more than just, checking boxes.
Yeah, it's really about changing how we think about EHS, moving from reacting to things to being proactive, from working separately to working together.
Right. And that brings us to the last thing we want to look at today. We've seen how the compliance calendar helps individuals and teams, but how does it connect to the bigger picture of a company's EHS system?
This is where it gets really cool. Let's say you're using the compliance calendar to keep track of training deadlines. You see that a few employees need a refresher course on hazardous materials handling.
Okay, yeah, that happens a lot. Usually that means you have to find the training materials, book a room, and figure out who has already done the training.
Exactly. But with ehssoftware.io, it's totally different. The compliance calendar actually works with their training management system.
Really? So right from the calendar event,
Yeah.
I can schedule the training, assign it to people, and even see if they finished it.
Yeah, that's right. It's like all your EHS tools are talking to each other and working together.
This is amazing. Yeah. It's like all those departments that used to work separately are suddenly working together without any problems. No more doing things twice or losing important information.
That's what's so great about it. ehssoftware.io has built a system where their tools don't just exist side by side. They actually make each other better.
So it's not just about the individual features. It's how they all work together to create this really strong and unified way of doing EHS.
Exactly. And that connection means things get done faster, better decisions get made, and in the end, it creates a safer work environment.
I'm starting to see the whole picture now. ehssoftware.io isn't just selling individual tools. They're offering a platform that can completely change how a company does EHS.
Yeah, it's about giving everyone the power to make things safer. from the people on the front lines to the EHS managers to the executives.
Well, that's all the time we have for today's deep dive into the EHS Software.io compliance calendar. We learned about so many features and how it fits into a bigger EHS system. But before we go, we'd love to hear from you. What stood out to you the most today? What got you thinking? As you think about what EHS Software.io can do, think about this. What if compliance wasn't just something you had to do, but a way to make positive changes in your company? That's something to think about, isn't it? Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe.